thanks for joining us, everyone. This is, of course, the Sean and Sean and the Great Outdoors Show, which is being brought to you by, technically, my living room.
And hey, I'm Sean too, and yeah, you're being hosted here too in my living room as well.
I like it. We decided to host it from our Glamp sites this week, which has honestly been a lot of fun. So if y'all haven't heard yet, our weekly challenge this week is set up your best camping or glamping site in your house, in your backyard, wherever you can, and go all out. Bring all your toys, have fun with it. I know Sean rocked out the Christmas lights I see in the background.
Yep,
well played.
Got the Christmas lights back here. It's nice.
Oh yeah. I've got, so one of my favorite new toys is my little Goal Zero power generator. So now I can rock my fan because it's starting to get a little hot outside, to be honest. So yeah, that little fan has been a game changer. So definitely enjoying that.
Any advice for dealing with rogue kitties when glamping?
I do not know about, like glamping in your house?
Yeah.
I would say that'd actually be kind of fun. I've heard of people bring dogs with them in camping the tents and whatnot. I feel like cats chilling in the tent will be even easier. They're smaller.
That'd be really cool. Yeah, so actually my tent is, it's called a 3.5. And so it can hold 3 people and 0.5, which is a dog, apparently. So.
Oh, yeah. So for this week, remember to post pictures of your glamp site and post it to our Instagram page and use that hashtag FSU Outdoor Challenge when you do it. So then we can actually see what you're posting. And then this week on Sunday will be kind of the end to do that. And we'll go ahead on and let y'all vote on the winners for it. I'm really pumped to see some of those sites coming in. Heck yeah.
If you can't get outside, for instance, I live in an apartment, so I don't really have a yard, but I set it up in my living room, and it's fun. It's nice to just sleep in my tent, which I did last night, and I have my little portable battery charger over here, and so I literally, I didn't even plug it into the wall. I just slept in my tent. It was kind of fun.
Wait, you said you slept in your tent last night?
Yeah. So I have a blow-up mattress that I just put in my tent.
All right. Well, actually, Sean, before I forget to, what flavor seltzer are we rocking this week?
We are rocking the lemon LaCroix.
The LaCroix.
I feel like lemon is the classic LaCroix flavor. It's always either lemon or lime. It's always my go-to if I'm going to be drinking a LaCroix.
Okay. I like this one. Sometimes they're a little bit too sweet for me. But this was actually kind of mellow.
Yeah.
Does LaCroix actually come from France, or where's it actually made?
That is an extremely good question.
I know.
I don't
know. It looks like the Ball Canning Company that makes the mason jars possibly makes it.
Yeah, it says here Hayward, California.
Okay.
So I guess it comes from California.
Our special California LaCroix. I like it. Well, lemon today, so good times. Dude, you know what we should do? So our marketing team is pretty rock star. I will say that. So Jason, our producer that we get to see today, one of our marketing team members, Jason, what do you think? Could we make a sweet seltzer water sticker maybe? For the show?
Okay. Yeah.
How cool would that be?
Like a Campus Rec seltzer water sticker.
Yeah.
Sure.
Is possible?
What flavor?
I don't know.
Something clever.
Yeah, like a good little iteration kind of thing. Because I will say our marketing team, they make some fun stickers, and we've been all about it. And I have to give them props where props are due. So maybe we'll get one.
You're asking the guy who just confessed in the chat that he hates bubble water.
Yeah.
Oh.
What the heck, Jason?
I'm not a fan.
It's okay. That's why we don't have Jason reviewing it.
Unpopular opinion.
Unpopular. Jason. It's okay. We still love you. But speaking of, we have been getting a ton of love for last week's challenge. We were able to pick some of our favorites and have y'all vote on them this week. So our nominations came from, I think we picked 5 of them. And believe it or not, we had a tie for first place. So one of our first place winners is number 2 that you see here on the screen. I believe SB Book submitted that one. Mad props, like, dude, mangrove trees. That's one of my favorite trees. Like,
that was a gorgeous one.
It really was. Like, that reflection, I can see why a lot of people voted on it.
Same.
So like I said, that one was first place, and it tied with photo number 5 from Ben Lorber Photos. And yeah, dude, sun popping through, like.
Yeah, it's always neat seeing those sunbeams come through in an actual like photo. That's really cool.
Exactly. And I heard a rumor, Ben, are you actually on today? Yeah? What, dude, mad props. This was a good shot. I was very excited to see it come through.
Did you take it with a phone or like a DSLR, or what was it taken with?
I took that with a phone. That's actually no editing at all.
That's awesome.
That's sweet.
I took that a couple weekends ago. I was camping outside or not outside, but I was camping, and that was the sunrise.
That's awesome.
Dude, I love it. I love it. Very nicely done. And then, so yeah, those 2 tied for first place, and we're also going to do a third place winner, photo number 1. And that came into us from Bella Bogle. Dude, the pinks in that one,
yeah,
very, very nice.
It's beautiful.
Like, that one, I think, had some of the most color out of all the submissions that we got. That was super, super cool.
I think so too. Yeah, that was awesome.
Heck yeah.
Cool.
So once again, we're really pumped to see some of the glamping sites coming in. We've had a couple submissions already, and y'all have been very clever on it. It's been entertaining to say the least. For sure. For sure. So, Sean, do you want to talk about kind of our first topic this week?
Yeah, so today we're going to talk a little bit about glamping versus camping.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we just want to know people's thoughts. Talking a little bit about, so glamping, for those who like are unfamiliar with the term, glamping kind of stands for glamour camping, is sort of like where it comes from. And there's obviously like different areas for both camping and glamping. But yeah, Sean and I wanted to talk a little bit about just the differences between the two and sort of what we do for each.
For sure, for sure. I know, like, when I was starting to get into like doing trips and stuff, especially on my own, I at one point hit kind of a wall where I'm like, no, for it to be a huge expedition, it has to be super lightweight and bare bones, and it's got to be hard. And then I realized, I'm like, you know what? I thoroughly enjoy having a pillow and having real coffee in the morning, and being able to use a little frying pan. And also realized that a lot of my friends maybe that weren't campers or didn't often go, it was really hard to get them to enjoy their first camping experience if that was the vibe of the trip that I did. Mm-hmm. So it definitely made me realize that there's a time and a place for both. And honestly, both are absolutely phenomenal.
I think so too. Yeah. Yeah. The same deal happened to me when I was in undergrad. I got super into ultralight, and started like spending buku's amount of money that I didn't actually have on ultralight gear. And then I went on a backpacking trip where I hammocked, and I was freezing, and I just didn't do it right. And it was kind of miserable, like, not gonna lie. So there's definitely like room for both, and finding even you're a hybrid, if you kind of put it that way, is like what are the glamorous things you want to take with you? What sort of essentials make you comfortable versus what can you go without? What weight can you not pack? So
exactly. Like, I know, for instance, if it probably some of the bigger variables between picking one or the other is the activity that you're doing. Backpacking, for instance, you're carrying literally all of your stuff on your back for however many days you're doing it, however many miles you're hiking. So yeah, you don't particularly want to bring a ton of extras and a ton of weight on that one. So you may have to go a little bit more bare bones. However, man, if you're car camping and you can bring whatever you want and you're literally carrying it from the back of your car to your little campsite, or my favorite is canoe camping. Because canoe camping, you can still be in the middle of a wilderness area, middle of nowhere, but you literally have that entire boat to bring gear with you, and you don't have to worry about the weight as much. I mean, you don't want to sink, don't get me wrong, but you can bring a cooler, you can bring an extra flashlight or a fan or other goofy stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. What are some things that you like to pack when you're glamping?
I would say when I'm glamping, some of the extras that I do is I'll sometimes switch up equipment too. Like I have my 2-burner stove back here that you can connect with a big propane bottle. And yeah, that thing's pretty large. And if I'm cooking a backpacking meal, I'm probably using a much smaller, like maybe a Whisper Light or something, or my jet boil where everything goes in the same bowl and you cook it that way. So I think some of the gear gets switched up where I have 2 burners. I can be cooking pancakes with a frying pan on one while I'm heating up water for my coffee on the other. I don't have to have it wait its turn kind of thing. What about you? What's some gear that you bring camping or glamping or switch out?
Yeah, I've got a Coleman stove too that's kind of the similar 2-burner thing. So that's usually if I'm car camping, that's what I always use, is just that little burner, or that bigger like 2-sided burner, so I can make whatever kind of elaborate meal I want to make, which is kind of fun. It's fun to, especially too, like you mentioned, a cooler. Coolers are awesome when you're going camping. It's nice. Like, I eat meat, so I like to bring any sort of meat that I want to, pack it in the cooler. And then, for instance, like I've definitely done times where I've packed chicken even in a cooler and just made a chicken meal out when I'm car camping with my friends. So it's definitely, it's fun. It's cool to bring a cooler. I love coolers.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise you have to basically, you're limited on what kind of food you can bring. You have to bring stuff that doesn't need to be cold, which totally exists. And I have a feeling in future episodes, we're going to talk a little bit more about backcountry cooking and nutrition and whatnot. But there's a lot more steps going in if you don't have that cooler and ability to keep things cold.
Most definitely.
If Jason, let's get some people from the audience. If you guys have some items that you like to take camping versus glamping, go ahead and raise your hand or hit a button, put it in the comments, and Jason will call on you, and we'd love to hear you share with us. So some items that you like to use when you're glamping that you might not necessarily use when you go camping. How about you, Yo-Yo? Do you have one?
I was hoping you wouldn't do that. I don't really glamp often. I already am like a pretty, I don't know, I don't own a lot of stuff. So I think that's why I like backpacking so much, because I'm also like the whole pillow thing. I'm an arm sleeper, so I don't really need the pillow. But yeah, I don't really glamp. I guess one thing I would take is like, I don't know, a blanket. It's nice to have like a cozy blanket in your tent sometimes. You can't really do that when you're backpacking. Or like a yoga mat if you just want to, I don't know, do some yoga. But you could always just do that on your like sleeping pad or something.
But basically have a separate thing so you don't have to use one thing for different ones.
Yeah.
What do you use as a pillow if you don't bring a pillow usually? You mentioned your arm. Do you have any other techniques that you use?
I'll usually like roll up my puffy jacket and put underneath my head, or like just stuff something in a sack. But I'm also a pillow tosser in real life, so that just mimics my pillow at home, and I just like kind of toss it midnight and go straight to my arm.
All right, note to self, don't share a tent with Yo-Yo because you're gonna get hit in the face with a pillow in the middle of the night.
I differ. I have to have something to hold. I don't know why, like when I sleep, and something to put my head on. So I can't do the whole arm thing. So either I usually bring a pillow, and so I bring my pillow to put my head on, and then I hold my puffy or whatever jacket I've got. Because that's one thing that like Otherwise, I'm not gonna get any sleep. That's one thing I
I hear
can't.
that.
I'm also like a stomach sleeper, so like I don't really need to go on my side because I'm literally just like I'm facing forward. So
I see Matthew has his hand up there.
Yeah, go for it, Matthew. What's a glamping piece of equipment that you like to use? I think you might be on mute, Matthew.
Hi. So ever since I was speaking of the topic of substitute pillows, ever since I was a little baby, I always used this life-size Eeyore plush.
Nice. That's
It's
awesome.
too big for the camera, but it's there.
Yeah, I like it. That would definitely be something you can bring on a glamping trip.
Heck yeah.
You have your pillow and your trip mascot. I've actually used the same. So I have this is Mr. Bojangles. He's my travel buddy. He's been on all kinds of trips with me. And actually, when I am camping and I don't have the ability to like bring a bunch of extras, I will 100% use him as a pillow at nighttime. And it comes in handy. But what we learned a few years ago is his eyes glow in the dark, and we did not realize that at first. So he was kind of chilling in the tent, and then as soon as it started to get dark, we saw two eyes in the corner, and man, talk about freaking scary. Pitch black dark in the middle of the tent are two little lemur eyes staring at you.
This
But it
life-size Eeyore plush is probably a way better pillow than that.
I think so too. That definitely looks more comfortable.
Now, Sean, why is he named Mr.
So his name, Mr. Bojangles. We got him down in South Florida in Fort Myers when I was working for Florida Gulf Coast University and Fort Myers, AO. And at the time there wasn't a Bojangles down there. And on the way down to this paddling trip, I think we stopped at a Cracker Barrel, to be honest. And you know how they have all that junk in Cracker Barrels? Well, Bojangles was one of them. And as we got him, we were talking about how we were so excited because we were finally getting a Bojangles chicken down in that area. And so we were so pumped about it, we ended up naming him that. And now, 10 years later, he's still Mr. Bojangles.
10 years.
It's at least 10 years. He's been around for a minute. I'm not gonna lie. I've almost lost him a couple times, but he's still here.
Yeah, I feel like you would have lost them by now.
Dude, right? I know. Don't you wish that on me, Jason. Don't listen to him, Bo. It's okay. What about anything else from the crew? Any other favorite glamping pieces of gear?
Say, Sean, I've got one big piece of gear that I've got right next to me. Now, I only bring this if I'm like car camping.
Yeah.
But I've got my big Dutch oven.
Ooh.
And if anyone's ever like cooked with these, so you can bake with these Dutch ovens. And so if I'm car camping, I love bringing these around. Just so here, I'll hold it up again.
Nice.
It's big. It's all, so it's just it's a massive oven essentially. And so I learned how to make different dishes from like my parents and from videos. And something I love to do is eat dessert when I'm car camping. And so you can make some really good desserts. I usually bake this like apple crisp. It's like a pie cake thing, like an upside down cake kind of. And it's just like apples, like a vanilla or a white cake mix. I put pineapples in there too. And you just like stir it all up and put it in there and just dump it in there. And then you put coals on the top, which is another thing that I like to use. You can like heat up coals through this thing. Just put coals in here, light them on fire.
Huh.
And you put them on top and underneath. And it takes a good amount of time. Like I would say it takes about an hour to actually like fully bake. But man, it is some of the tastiest stuff, especially when you're out camping and you're like having like this little piece of sweet cake pie stuff on your plate. It's nice. I love it. I love my Dutch oven.
Dude, I'm getting hungry actually. But yeah. Now you said it was you only bring it on car camping trips. Like how heavy would you say it is, Sean?
Dude, this thing has got to be 15 pounds maybe. Like this thing is heavy. 10 to 15 pounds, I would say. It's not lightweight at all. Because it's cast iron. So it is thick. So yeah, I would never, never put this in my backpack because that would be half my weight right there. But yeah, that's the reason I take it on my car trips though, is because it's my glamping. It's my glamping tool. I love to eat and have dessert when I'm glamping. I feel like dessert is definitely like a glamping thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love dessert. So yeah.
After that, I think one of my favorite glamping desserts would be fried Oreos.
Ooh, yeah.
If you go and you take so if you're having pancakes, say on the morning of the second day, you make your pancakes and you save like a little bit of the batter, and then later that night you bust out the Oreos and the leftover batter, you kind of just put it in that baggie of batter, and then in your pan you just put a layer of like cooking oil or what have you, and then you put it in there and let it just sizzle, and then flip it and do the other side. And oh my gosh, the middle's so soft and nice, and like fried Oreos in the middle of nowhere with stars overhead, and like, oh dude.
Mm-hmm. That sounds awesome.
Desserts are definitely like an awesome glamping aspect. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So I'm gonna share one of my favorite glamping tools. I'm a huge coffee lover, and it's hard to go a day without coffee. I'm not gonna lie. Some would say I drink too much, but they don't know what they're talking about, so I'm okay with it. But long story short, this is my coffee kit. I keep it like in the container, so it just, number one, stays together, and number two, doesn't like get ripped and whatnot for travel. But so inside of it, I've got this GSI coffee filter, which is the clutch item. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then I've got some coffee filters, my little metal tumbler cup, and of course, a baggie of coffee. So the way it works is the little GSI filter doohickey, bottom comes off, and then it pops up, just like you see on like those dog bowls and stuff. And what this is it's just a pour over coffee guy. Like in the middle of it, it's got a little hole, and then it sits right up on top of the cup. So I actually have some hot water. I'm going to show you how it works all the way. So it sits right on top of your tumbler. I didn't plan out this part.
Oh, be careful, Sean.
I know, right? It's might be hot. And I know some of these designs, you don't need a filter. I personally like using a filter when I'm camping, just because the cleanup is so much easier. I don't have to use as much water to like rinse out the grounds. And if you're camping or backpacking and they don't have ways to they don't have trash pickup and you have to pack everything out anyway, having to like rinse out the coffee grounds and then it's kind of everywhere, and now you're bringing water with you too. I think just dumping the coffee filter in the trash you're going to pick out is a much easier cleanup process. So that's why I personally like them.
I will say,
wow,
with the Dutch oven cooking, you season your Dutch ovens, right? And so like it's cast iron, so you get good seasoning in there. Oftentimes though, when I'm camping, I do the same thing with the Dutch oven. Even I just put parchment paper in there, just so I can like easily dispose of that, because it stinks sometimes to have like crusty cake or like pie to clean out after like your trip. But yeah, that's definitely a good tip.
Doing dishes definitely makes you appreciate a sink and running water big time. Yeah. So I've got my coffee itself, and I'm just gonna pour a little bit in. You kind of eyeball it. You can bring your scooper if you want, but that's just an extra thing to carry. And so this was actually the first time I learned that water needs to be hot to do pour over, because one time I just didn't have time to heat up my water and tried to do it, and literally the coffee came out as water still. And that was when it clicked. I'm like, oh, you need hot water. That's why coffee makers always heat up water. So go figure. So I got some hot water earlier, but normally I would just heat that up on the stove.
Silly Sean.
And then you just pour the hot water right on the coffee. And in a minute, I'll pick it up so you can actually see it. And you can see there's coffee coming out. So
Oh, wow.
that's definitely my favorite, and you can make a good bit of coffee with it. So usually I'll get a thermos in the morning, and I'll make a bunch of coffee while I'm at camp, put it in the thermos, and then I'll have more for later in the day. But yeah, this GSI pop-up coffee filter is definitely one of my favorite glamping toys. And realistically, I'd probably bring it when I go backpacking too. It's so little and light. I might not bring the whole case, but I might just bring a couple pieces to do that. I think that's like a big thing when you're trying to decide on what gear you want. A lot of times you can use the same stuff. You just may need to like adapt it a little bit. Maybe leave a piece of it home, or leave its case, or switch out some of the different things. Does anyone have any examples of how they've kind of retrofitted maybe some of their heavier equipment to bring on, say, a backpacking trip in the past?
Before we get to that, Benjamin asks, where can we get that setup that you just had there with the whole
Definitely.
coffee?
So you can get this from Folgers. I believe they make these. They're very light plastic. They usually have coffee in it, but yeah, honestly, repurpose just a container is a lot of times what I use. So like I said, this was a coffee container, and then this is just coffee from what I normally get in a baggie, obviously, and same with the filters. The big piece that the grocery store might not have is the GSI coffee maker. You can find these online. You can also get them at, I don't know if you'll necessarily be able to find them at like maybe like a Dick's Sporting Goods, but maybe a larger company that makes or sells equipment like an REI. I believe I actually got this at REI. And rumor on the street for you Tallahassee people is that REI is coming to Tallahassee. Woo! Talked to the reps recently, and they're coming to Tallahassee. So,
Yeah.
Very excited for that. Oh yeah. What about you, Sean? Where can you get your Dutch oven?
Dutch ovens, you can kind of get them just about anywhere. I think this one was a gift. It was gifted to me like a couple Christmases ago when I was in high school. It was like my senior year of high school. But I figured, honestly, just look for Dutch ovens on Amazon. You'd probably find a better price for these bad boys. I like for camping, look for the ones that have these feet. So you can put coals underneath them easily, and it kind of just like stands above the coals. And then yeah, it's nice to have these lids with like a good lip on it too, so you can put coals on the top and like not have to like worry about them falling off. Another useful tool that I use when I'm using my Dutch oven is I got this like little handle thing, because obviously it gets hot. So like if you want to take the lid off, you can just like use this tool here to take that lid off. Otherwise it burns the snot out of your hand, and you don't want that. So yeah, but I would probably look at Amazon, or again, you might be able to find some at like REI, maybe a Dick's Sporting Goods, maybe Academy. But yeah, definitely look online. It's probably the best place to find something like that.
And make sure you get the free shipping with that online one. That's a heavy package to come in the mail.
Yeah, it is huge.
We've got a bit more time today, and honestly, we want to hear from y'all to hear what your favorite glamping items are. And this can be like glamping, like actually camping, or if you have like specific items that you take when you go on a day trip to the lake, or even tailgating, man. I've seen some impressive tailgating items that I see and I'm like, oh my gosh, I could totally use that on a camping trip. Like there are some fun, very ingenuitive people out there.
So we got Luke with bocce ball. Is that right?
Bocce ball.
Bocce
yeah.
ball.
Dude, I hear that, Luke. So Luke, are you able to come off mute by chance? Or want to?
I am.
Awesome. Can you explain to us what how bocce ball works?
Sure. Bocce ball, and hello, everyone out there. I'm not a FSU alum student. I work in campus recreation up at University of Northern Iowa. I do have a connection with FSU with Chris and Chris, who are some of your coworkers.
Yeah, so many Chris's.
Yeah, well, the director and formerly intramurals, and I think he now does facilities. Chris out there, I met through NERSA a while ago. Anyway, appreciate what you guys are doing there, making connections. Obviously, it's better to do it around a campfire at a sweet campsite, but you know, we get creative from the in the outdoor world. So bocce ball is a really old game. I don't know if I've been playing it right in my life, but you have each side has 4 really heavy balls that are about 1 kilogram apiece. They're just like a solid, I'm guessing they started as rocks, but just like they look like a softball, but they're solid stone. And then you have like a little, I think it's called a Polinio or a nut or a jack. And we play it where each side or team throws the object ball out, and then you try to get your next 4 balls closest to the little ball. That's how we play it. But it's a really heavy game. I would never take one into the backcountry, although they do make a backpacking bocce ball set. I took a group of students up to Rocky Mountain National Park on a backpacking trip, and I did take that into the backcountry so we could have some extreme bocce ball.
That's awesome.
Up on the yeah, it was a ton of fun. And there's a product I think I got through REI or Amazon or somewhere. So
I'm totally gonna look for that. That's cool. Because bocce ball, man, those things are super heavy. I'm a whole set, I can imagine. Wouldn't want to backpack with that, but I'm okay. I'm totally gonna look that up later. I want a backpacking bocce ball set.
That's cool. Yeah. I've had buddies take spike ball. You can tear down some of those nets and stuff them like deep in your backpack, but they've played spike ball out in the trail, and it's really fun because it's a super lightweight game too, but that's something that's really cool too.
Jason, have we gotten any more?
Yes, we have quite a few messages here. So Allison, not really gear, but I've been on trips where we bring a laptop and have a tent movie night. It's pretty cool.
I like that.
Benjamin with his busy bee hammock. Okay. Megan leads with some of my participants brought their Switch and had a game night or cards to play.
That's euchre.
Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, because we've all had those nights where it's rained a lot and everyone's kind of stuck in the tent. So yeah, like having those backup plans, that's clutch.
And finally we have Bailey. It sounds ridiculous, but I'll bring a foam mattress that fits in my pup's kennel. Such a great addition, a tent, hammock, car sleeping.
Oh, that's awesome.
I like that. Bailey, are you saying that some of the time you like actually instead of like using a tent, you'll crash in your car when you're glamping?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like if the mosquitoes are super bad and I'm like a really big baby about those, I'll crash in my car because I can like put the hammock up or like have a really easy like netting to go over that and just like pass out back there.
Heck yeah.
Primo.
Yeah, I've definitely you reminded me with the dog sleeping pad, man, crash pads. If you're ever bouldering and you open up one of those big old foldable crash pads, that is like the best sleeping surface in the entire world. Like so much fun. But I can even imagine like in the back of like a car that it can be all the way out and no bugs. Heck yeah.
Yeah. Or like one of those like really old school like kids sleeping mats.
Oh, like the kindergarten ones?
You just take like naps on? Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Luke just posted a good link for bocce ball there.
Nice.
Oh,
REI. Yeah.
Heck yeah. All right. Well, I know we're getting close on our time. We don't want to keep you guys too long, but we will definitely be back the same time again next week. Thoroughly enjoy it. I know next week's topic, we don't want to be too specific because we don't want to tell you what the challenge is yet. But next week's topic is going to have to do with maps and pictures. Yeah. So I think what we'll be talking about is like trail running and hiking and like equipment and types of shoes that you use for the two of them, and then kind of how to prepare and what we thoroughly enjoy about day hikes and trail runs.
Yeah, might be cool too. We might talk a little bit about like different systems you can use to like mapping systems you can use like digitally to track your hikes and stuff like that, and even record data if you want to.
Well, good deal. But once again, make sure you set up your camping and glamping site, whether it be in your living room, your apartment, your backyard, wherever you can. And we want to see your setups. Definitely post them on Instagram. I think we have the contest open until Sunday. Is that right, Sean?
Yep, Sunday.
Nice. And what's the hashtag that they use?
They'll use hashtag FSU Outdoor Challenge. So yeah, get on there. Send us cool pictures of your glam site. Again, it could be anywhere. It could be inside, be in your backyard.
Definitely. It can be a picture, or it can even be like a video tour if you want to walk us through your site and kind of show us what you got. I think Instagram, it has to be less than a minute, if I remember correctly, Sean. Didn't we find that out when we made our longer intro video?
Yeah.
Well, thanks again for coming, everyone, and we'll see you next time on the Sean and Sean in the Great Outdoors Show.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you later.